Hi, welcome to Barmy Army fan cams after a 1-0 win away at Spurs. A strange game, probably one that we were the deserved winners of, but to me, the thing I'll remember most is the referee. Lots of yellow cards, lots of challenges that didn't seem to be fouls, but plenty of yellows. It's 3 points, and after the midweek, it's a very, very welcome turnaround. Millie Turner got the only goal, so that obviously pleases me. Fiona, Ian, Matt, Jake, let's have some thoughts on that. Jake, where do we start with that match? Because it feels like there's lots of things we could say about it, but maybe the only thing is 3 points.
Yeah, obviously, as you say, it's a welcome turnaround from what we saw on Wednesday. It wasn't a massive improvement, but it was an improvement. We got the job done. This game's not going to go down as a classic by any means. Both sides were far from the best, but yeah, it was. Look, that goal it won us the game, and even though we did create chances, didn't take them. That's something we still need to work on, being clinical in the final third. But look, it's a win. I don't want to be too critical. We've won. We were the better side by far today. I'm happy.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've all got better vibes than we have done for a couple of days, certainly. Fiona, your thoughts on a game where plenty of chances, only the one we really put away, but deserved winners?
Yeah, I think we created more chances than Spurs. We didn't finish them, so a few where the keeper made the saves, or a few where we made like the last decision was a poor choice where we could have passed it and somebody else would have scored. Yeah, I think we are deserving of the 3 points, but again, we still need to improve that performance. Against better teams or more clinical teams, that wouldn't have been enough. But yeah, there's positives to take from it, but there's definitely still room for improvement.
And Matt, what did you find was the most positive aspect of that game then?
I think really just the fact that we got the win. I mean, really it was a classic case of winning ugly. Neither side were really at their best. We were certainly a lot better than we were in midweek, but it felt to me like the players are low on confidence. I don't know why that is, but I feel like there was more perhaps desire than there was against Liverpool, but it's difficult to put my finger on. There's just something not quite there at the moment with the performances, and I'd have to agree with what Fiona said. Against better sides, that performance won't be enough. But at the end of the day, we got the win. We got a clean sheet. It's 3 points, 10 points from 4 games. You take it,
Yeah, definitely. I know some people are always interested in league tables, and obviously it's skewed because we played early. It makes positive reading, but let's wait a little bit longer, I think, for the table.
Yeah,
itself.
Let's see what the table says at the end of November after we've played Arsenal and City.
Yeah, and Ian, I guess we've still got players injured. We've got players coming back. So am I being picky by looking at performance? And should it just be a case of 3 points done? Let's move on.
No, performance matters, and I'm sure Casey will see his performance matters. We still have to remember that this team are still gelling. Today was Kristen's first start. It's Tobin's second start. They've not had match minutes, large number of match minutes together, so it will take a bit of time. The one really bad thing about all this is, we play next week and then we've got another international break.
Yeah.
So it breaks it up again. The good thing is Tobin and Christian aren't going anywhere. They're staying here. None of the European-based players for the US national team have been called up. However, they have said that future camps, they will be called up.
Yeah.
But I think once they gel, we'll start seeing some better performances. There's a lot to play today where the final pass was lacking or it wasn't made. So I think going forward, yes, performance matters, but the main thing is to bounce back off Wednesday, 3 points, move on to West Ham next week.
Yeah, and you talk about the West Ham game coming up, and then after that, there's nothing for a couple of weeks. The communication seems to be getting better as well. There just seemed that sense that people knew where somebody else would be. But for me, the big bonus we will get out of an international break, because we've got to try and find something out of having no football for a couple of weeks, is that we've got players who aren't fit right now, who are coming back from injuries, who will hopefully get a chance to get back on the training pitch and get themselves ready to play, because we are almost at bare bones in the defence. I mean, we had Leah Galton playing left back today, and as somebody that saw her play both left back and centre half in Oslo for pre-season, the season before last, she's far from comfortable there, but she did a job. And there does seem to be a sense of just making do at the moment, certainly in the defence. So yeah, I keep coming around to that. Let's just take it. Fiona, I know you said just before, don't ask me who my player of the match is. I'm not going to come to that just yet, okay? But what for you was the most pleasing aspect of certain performances? We're not going to name names, but knowing that there were players who were out of position, there were players who had been out for some time, what's the most pleasing aspect that you can take from this game? Because I don't want us to be at a point where 1-0 and we're thinking, oh, actually, it's a 1-0 win. It's brilliant. But I'm also really aware we've done these fan cams from the Chelsea game onwards, and I've not felt as much of a high for any game as Chelsea, and that was a draw. So what would you say?
I think for me, it's about building that chemistry between the players, knowing what the other players like. So we know that Kristen and Tobin have obviously played together internationally, and so we could see some of that link up. But with Leah playing left back, you could see her linking up with Tobin, overlapping runs and building that relationship. They might struggle to play together if they both prefer the left, but I could see Tobin playing centrally or on the right or up front, players moving around positions. So seeing that link up between the different players. So we saw a bit of it with Amy Turner and Russo as well. Building that chemistry, that relationship, that will really help us going forward. So I'd like to see a bit more throughout the team, but it's definitely, you could start to see things clicking a bit better.
Matt, who are you looking forward to seeing coming back, either from injury or just because they haven't had minutes recently? Who would you like to see?
I'd like to see Honor come back, who's missed the last couple of games. I think, she really impressed a lot of people early on. First couple of games of the season, she played really well. So it would be good to see her come back. Jess as well.
Yeah.
I think it would be great to see her back through the middle. I think we definitely need something a bit different there. So, yeah, I think those two we need back. And to be honest, you were talking earlier about, being down to the bare bones in defence. I think having that extra option will be so important, because I said to you earlier, I was surprised that Amy Turner started today, because it's been well documented that under normal circumstances, she can't play 3 games in a week because of, previous injury issues or whatever. And I think all things being equal, she would probably have been on the bench today, with it being our 3rd game in 7 days. So I think, it's having that depth and having those options in out of the back will be really important.
Yeah, definitely. Ian, for you, who are you hoping to see back in a red shirt, either for West Ham or for the Arsenal City games?
I think we really need to get Honor back.
Yeah.
What she did against Chelsea in the second half shows you how good a player she is, and we are missing that. I thought her and Leah really linked up well in that second half. You could then probably put Tobin out over on the right. You can keep Kristen through the middle. That's that. But the one player we haven't seen anything of so far is Ivana. It was good to see she wasn't on crutches today.
Yeah.
So she's obviously doing well in her rehab. I don't think we'll see her next week. So I think we won't see her until November. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what she did. Just a few little snippets we've seen of videos in her in training back in August some of her finishing was, you know, impressive. So I'm looking forward to seeing her. But the key ones is, you know, it's great to see Katie back on the pitch, getting minutes, you know, coming through what she, you know, obviously by the sounds of it, she was asymptomatic, but coming through something like COVID is not going to be easy for her. So it's really glad to see her back on the pitch. And obviously, Kristen and Tobin. Tobin today was, again, for someone who hasn't played much football since March, you wouldn't realise it. Okay, she missed her chance, but you could say it was partly a good save because she was going for the keeper's legs. You know, not a bad place to put it. So, but overall, yeah, I can't wait to get Honor getting back on the left-hand side. Then we can cause some issues.
Okay. Yeah, I think definitely when we saw the clips of Ivana, we were getting very excited. And that was before we knew Heath, Press, Russo were coming. So let's not forget that. The question's nearly there. Jake, I'm just going to ask you, in terms of players coming back, obviously players that won't get minutes. No one's talking about LJ. No one's mentioned LJ in this. And it's happened so many times that we've done fan cams, we've had conversations on the Sunday, on socials on a Sunday. Where's LJ fitting in?
I know she's sort of been forgotten, hasn't she? I shouldn't say that because we know how good she can be and how she ran the championship season. She had a good season last season as well. So she's exciting. And even though she's not a new signing or someone who's been out forever, she played one of the games for a little bit. But, you know, when she's back at full fitness, I think she's going to improve the attack massively. And we've all said that something's missing. You know, something was missing today, something was missing against Liverpool. You could even argue something was missing against Brighton, even though that was a fairly comfortable win. I think we need LJ back. She's not afraid to take a shot. She's clinical. Yeah, I'd like to see her, you know, when she's back, obviously. I'd like to give her a good full game, see what she can do. She's magic. She really is when she's at her best.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. Player of the match. I know who I'd be going with. I'm not going to sway any of you. Ian.
That's really tough. I thought Jackie had another really good game in the middle. Tobin had a really good game as well until she was subbed off. Oh,
Go on, give us a name.
If
And
I
it
was
can't
going
be
to
the
go
ref.
with someone, I would have to go with Jackie because she played the full 90.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah, it's difficult because I don't. One thing a lot of us said during the game was that nobody particularly stood out as having an amazing game. But I think you're going to push me to say a name, so I'm going to say, you know what, I'll give it to Tobin.
Okay. Fiona?
Yeah, I'll probably give it to Tobin. Seemed to be creating a lot of stuff. So
Jake, last but not least.
Yeah, I think I want to say Jackie because she wasn't.
Jake, can I just check out? It's got to be a United player. I know you've got a soft spot for some of the Spurs players. We'll talk about United.
Yeah, I'm a United fan. Come on. Yeah, Jackie. As everyone said, you know, no one really stood out, but she did her job really well. And also, something that I think needs to be picked up on is when Hayley went off at half time. She had an even bigger job to do. You know, she had to be that physical presence of two players in a way, because even though we didn't go a player down, losing Hayley is a massive loss. So she stepped up, she was physical, she did the job.
Great point, actually. 2 votes for Jackie, 2 votes for Tobin. Personally, I think the vote would have been done and dusted had Tobin taken a chance. I think she'd have walked away with player of the match. But quite frankly, as long as we can still talk about who performed well, I know we said nobody stood out, but there were still some great performances. It's 3 points. It's a win. We are temporarily top of the table. We're unbeaten in the league so far. We're going to enjoy it. After Wednesday, we're definitely going to milk this for a little bit longer. Next week, we're going down to West Ham. Thankfully, they've moved. So anybody who made the questionable trip to Rush Green last year, even if we were allowed in, which we're not, we would have been saved that. But yeah, let's see. Who's the ref next week, ref?
We'll know Monday.
We'll know Monday. Right, check out the BA Twitter account. They'll keep you informed of these things. Ian will obviously do his match reports as well, so he'll keep you updated with those. But for now, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next week. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.